Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Simple Car Guy channel. In this video, we're taking a look at this Foxwell NT644 Elite scanner. I have already reviewed the less capable brother, the NT624, which I really do recommend you watch, as I will be skipping over some of the simpler stuff in this video. I will mostly concentrate on the advanced features of this scanner that the cheaper version does not have. I just want to be very clear that this scanner can do everything that this scanner do, but it can do a little bit more. So let's find out what those things are. Here we can see what the scanner actually comes with. You have the actual device, which is very rugged and solid. Love the construction of these, just the same as the previous one. We have the little cable for updating, and we have the cable for actually plugging it into your car. I like it that it's removable, so you can easily store this in your glove box compartment if you're not using the case, and things like that. We also have a nice manual. It's actually readable, so you can, read decent English and figure out how to update things and stuff like that. I have updated mine, and it took almost overnight for it to fully update everything. On the previous one, it only took about 45 minutes, so I'm not really sure why it took so long, but I am fully up to date, and I'll be showing you all of the software that has been fully updated. Updating the scanner was actually fairly easy other than the wait time. Usually I don't even bother updating, but this was pretty easy. You can update the specific brand alone if you don't want to wait as long, and then it would only take about 5 to 10 minutes. So by the end of this video, I'm really hoping to make it clear what advanced features the scanner can do. Who is the scanner really for? Will it work for your car? And is it really worth $350 asking price? So let's go plug it into the car and take a closer look. Now that we are in the car, let's plug it in and see how long it takes to turn on. That's kind of important for me because I really don't like when scanners take half an hour to turn on and are very slow to use. So this one, as you can see, it turns on pretty quickly, which I do like. First is the auto VIN. This will automatically detect the VIN number of your car. So if you go in here, you can automatically get the VIN, and it will allow you to get all the information for the car without having to manually enter the VIN. So that's pretty useful. OBD2, that's pretty much exactly the same as any other scanner that you have seen. You can scan the car, you can can auto select the protocols for you. You can scan the car, you can get your live data, you can get the freeze data, all of that kind of good stuff. Like I said, I'm not going to go over these simpler items in this video just because I have gone over them in the previous video with almost exactly the same scanner. They can do the same functions. Now, the next one is pretty important. It's Diagnostics, and this is what makes this scanner different and better. These are the advanced features, the maintenance tab. We'll get to that in a minute. Now, we have a couple other options here in the main menu. We have the settings, so you can change a lot of the items that you can see on the screen. You can do your display test, make sure everything is good. Nothing really that you want to go in here for unless you have issues. Data manager, so this is when you record live data off of the scanner, off of the car. You can then go in here and review that data. Update, you would go to this option once you plug it into your computer and you'd like to update your scanner. Now, let's go into the diagnostics and see what this menu can do. As I said, the previous scanner will be able to do this function as well. So we can select our cars from here. We can go to America, Asia, China, and this is where we can take a look whether your car is in here or not. So as you can see, we have Chrysler, Ford, and GM for Americas. We have a lot of Asian cars, all of the ones you see on the screen. So we have all the popular cars, at least here in the States. So the Acura, Honda, Toyotas, Mitsubishis, and all of those Mazdas, all of the good cars. We also have the Chinese cars. For these, I'm not really sure if these are the popular cars, but I do see BMW and Ford China and Mazda China. We also, of course, have the European cars. These are going to be our BMWs and Ferraris and Lamborghinis and everything else that you see on the screen. So, as I mentioned, this scanner can do a lot of different cars, which is one of the reasons I really like it. Now, let's go ahead and actually go back to Europe. Select BMW, and we'll do Smart VIN so I can auto select my car. Might take a second, so I'll fast forward through this. It's been a few seconds and it identified my VIN number, so I'm going to say completed. Has decoded the car. Yes, that looks correct. A few seconds later, it takes us to the diagnostic screen. So we're going to click OK. And here we can do a quick scan of all of the modules, or we can select the control modules individually. So this is one of the best features of this scanner besides the advanced features. And that's why I like the previous scanner so much. Let's go into the quick scan and scan the entire car. This car has a lot of modules, so it will take a couple of minutes. I will fast forward through this just so you don't have to, watch the whole thing. All right, as you can see, it's been a couple of minutes, but it actually scanned all 33 modules, and we can go into each individual one and see live data. We can view the codes, we can reset the code. So let's go ahead and go into the DME. So it's going to be the engine computer, or one of them. We can go in here and see if there's any codes. Let's see, it shouldn't be any on this module for this car. As you can see, it does take a couple seconds for it to load between when it's reading the data from the modules. That's one of the negatives that I would have to say this scanner has. Of course, there's no faults there, so everything's fine, but it did take a few seconds to load. I have seen faster scanners, but usually they are a little bit more expensive. Now, of course, if you had any codes, you can clear those for that individual module only, which is useful if you're trying to troubleshoot something. You don't want to erase the codes for the entire car. You might just want to erase it for that specific module. Of course, we can also look at the live data, which is one of the nicer features, of this scanner and a lot of these, a little bit fancier scanners. Not only can you see, general live data, you can see the live data as it's happening, specifically on this module, which I keep saying module, but it's very important that you understand the difference for, between just regular OBD2 live data type of stuff, the type of data, the PIDs, and the difference between this. Here you can see a lot of the data that you normally wouldn't just see at all, and you can do it for every module on the car. So it's really important and very useful. Once the module loads, you're presented with plenty of different options to choose. You can just hit F1 if you like to select all of them, or you can select, one by one. So if you just want to see the coolant temperature, engine temperature, or oil temperature, and let's see, ambient temp, we're going to just select that and then click OK. Now we're just going to have those three values show up. Of course, the car is not running, so it's not going to, change that much, but it's still showing you all of that value. So as you can see, it's 3 degrees Celsius outside, engine temperature is 53, coolant's 54. So very useful information, and it changes live as you're doing something to your car. Let's go back and I'll actually show you a few things live where we can manipulate the data as we are viewing it on the screen. So I'm gonna go to gear lever switch, which is just behind. We're gonna go to live data. So it's gonna connect to the module, read what kind of sensors it can provide for us. I'm gonna click OK in general. And now we're gonna click select all. Click OK. Wait for the values to show up. All right, now we're just gonna press, I'm gonna try to do it kind of at the same time. I'm gonna press, let's say, P, or let's press the unlock button. And as you can see, it just changed to pressed. So there's a couple seconds of delay, but that's really useful for when you're troubleshooting something. Let's say, I'm not able to put the car in gear and I'm trying to figure out whether it's the stick or whether it's something else. So now I'll know that this button actually works, and it's probably something else. So it helps you troubleshoot those kind of issues, which is invaluable when you're working on these super electronic and, high-tech type of cars. All right, well, I think you've gotten the idea of scanning the modules and getting individual data per module and not just generic codes or generic data. Now let's go back to the main menu and I'll show you the big difference between this one and the 624 Foxwell scanner. So we're going to go all the way back and we're going to click on maintenance. So what makes this a special scanner is that this is a bidirectional scanner. What that means is that not only can it read data from your car, it can also write data to the car. Now, what can it write to the car? Well, that really depends on your car and your brand of car. There are 19 different special services or special functions or whatever you want to call them, and you can see them on the screen right now. Now, I do have to mention that not all of them will work on every single car. So if you're going to the first one, AF, so it's air fuel ratio adaptation, right? We go in, this only works on Fords, Suzukis, and VWs. If you go to ABS service, let's see which cars are supported here. Pretty much every car is supported on here. So this is when you're working on your brakes, you need to bleed the brakes, whatever it may be, this will do it for you. You can also register batteries. You can see plenty of cars in here, and then you can do clutch adaptation, which works on these cars. So not every function will be available on every car, but the functions that are available for your car will work. So this is what makes this scanner so special and so useful. As an example, when you change injectors on a BMW, you have to do the compensation adaptation. This will do it for you. So we can go into the BMW. Let's actually check the adaptations on this car right now. So we're going to read the VIN number. That's correct. We're going to click complete. Yes, that's correct. Okay, it has loaded. So we're going to go to special functions. And once that loading is done, which does take a few seconds, we're going to go to, let's say, determining the injectors. So this will tell you just informational kind of stuff. It'll tell you what kind of injectors you need. Let's go back to the menu and select the other option. Now we're going to select injection quantity compensation, which I'm not sure if that's the correct wording for it, but we know what it does. Wait for it to load. This car does have a couple DMEs. That's why it's scanning both units. On most cars, this is much faster. We're going to click yes. Okay, click OK. And there you go. So here we can see the actual values on my injectors of this car. Now, if we have to modify them, we can do so here. We can click yes, and then we can select which function, so we can enter the new adjustment values. We can save them. We can read out new values, and of course, we can exit out. Since I haven't changed my injectors, I'm not going to be doing any of those things. But as you can see, this function does work. So we're going to go all the way back to the menus. As you can see, these functions are very, very useful. You can even adjust your odometer, even though I don't believe this works on BMWs. Yeah, this mostly works on European and American cars. You can do your oil reset, TPMS. So if you've changed the sensors, you can register those sensors in the wheels. You can adjust your seat. I believe this needs to be registered on some cars when you're in an accident or things like that. You can prime the fuel pump, TPS. So this is going to be... I'm not really sure what this one is actually. But it does work on all of these cars. Let's go back. You can do something with the turbo, and you can do your window regulator adjustment. I've actually had to do this on my Z4, where I had to adjust the window as it wasn't going all the way up. So I had to do this function, and it actually works, which is nice. So now, what do I think about this scanner? Well, I think this is a great scanner for somebody that has 2 or 3 different make cars, or maybe a small shop, somebody that likes to do their own maintenance. So if you're doing your own brakes, if you're doing your own injectors, if you're doing your own oil changes or tires, switching out tires here and there, this is perfect. You will get the specific codes for the problems, the BMW specific or whatever make car that you have specific codes. Not the generic codes, which is a huge thing for me. You also have a nice large screen. It's 4.3 inches. What are the things that I don't like? It might be an overkill if you just have one car or just a small garage that, you have maybe 2 cars and, they're both BMWs. You might get away with getting a scanner that just works on BMWs for probably half the price. Also, loading on this seems a little bit slow, going through some of the settings. Well, not the settings, especially if you're trying to read modules, it does take almost a minute at sometimes, which seems like a little bit long for me. It's also a bit expensive, if you only have 1 or 2 cars to work on. It's $350 right now on Amazon, which, to be able to do all of these functions, it's great, but depending on how often you work on your car, it might be an overkill. It also doesn't have a function that allows me to program keys. I've seen some of these scanners that allow you to program keys or key fobs, things like that. So that's one of the other limitations as well. Also, if the function that you need for your car is not listed as one of these 19 maintenance items, you will not be able to do it. So that's another negative for me. I know some scanners allow you to maybe purchase another function or things like that. So that would be kind of nice. If I could spend, let's say, another $20 and be able to program keys, I would gladly pay those $20. The last item that I wanted to mention that I don't normally even mention, but since this is $350, I just wanted to make it clear that you are not going to be able to turn on and off components of your car, trigger solenoids or run engine fans, or, on demand, which some of the very, very expensive scanners can do. This cannot do that. So just wanted to make that clear, because I know you guys will, ask those questions in the comments. Overall, it's a great tool for the money, as you do not have to buy the brand-specific scanners that will cost you into the thousands. Just imagine buying, a scan tool for a BMW, then another one for a Mercedes, and then another one for a Volvo. You're going to be spending so much money that this will look super, super cheap. I think this is well worth the money if you do have more than one make car in your garage, or like I said, work in a shop, or you like helping friends out and things like that. This does do a lot of the functions of those much, much more expensive scanners. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. And of course, if you'd like to purchase one, there's a link down in the description.